Welcome to this video. Today I want to speak to consistency. When we are exercising, when we're engaged physiologically in activity, when we set a target or a goal or an objective in mind, one of the key principles for reaching that objective or immersing ourselves in that experience is consistency. So when we are able to be consistent in our practices, it is one of those markers, one of those characteristics that lends itself very strongly to ensuring that we're doing the best we can possibly to be successful in that endeavor, to be successful in reaching that outcome or understanding or realizing that outcome. And that becomes a very, very powerful, empowered position to place ourselves in. So it's through that physiological conditioning and through that exposure, that consistent exposure to that physical conditioning and to that practice that allows us to achieve our physical goals. So for example, say we want to run a half marathon and we are consistent in our practice. There are other principles, of course, so there are smart training principles that we must adhere to. It's not only consistency, it's exposure to quality movement, mechanics, sound biomechanics, being mobile and flexible, having overall strength, being able to, allowing the body to understand muscular endurance and to then express that muscular endurance. So there are a lot of principles and key points that lead us to gaining success in that area, but consistency is one of them, and I just want to speak to consistency today. And here's the important part of all this. I began to look at consistency in programming and began to look at consistency in our physicality or our physical exposure to understanding self, whether it be to achieve a goal or just to maintain, and that's a goal in and of itself, of course, to maintain overall health and longevity. Consistency in our thoughts, consistency in our behaviors, consistency in our belief systems, in our patterning, in the way we interact and move through the world. Consistency provides us with a direct outcome to that consistent practice. Now, let's just forget about and put to the side just for a moment good and bad. And even let's put aside for a moment aligned values and purposes or purpose and misaligned values and purpose. But just look and allow us to observe, my tongue's tied today, allow us to observe consistency in practice, consistency in exposing ourselves. Consistency is regularity, consistency in exposing ourselves over and over again to a particular behavior, a thought, an ideological principle, a philosophical disposition, a cultural nuance, a relational attitude. And what does that consistency over time, what does that do for us? What outcome does it give us? I'll tell you what the outcome is. It's irrelevant what we are actually engaging. The specifics don't matter in this case, but that consistency will lead us to live exactly what we are practicing through that regular exposure. So this video is really about being mindful around what are you consistent with in life? Are you consistent with behavior? Now we can go to value alignment and good and bad. Are you consistent with behavior that's aligned with your grandest purpose and vision for self? Are you consistent with behavior that is aligned with your hierarchy of values? Are you consistent with belief systems, in the thought process, emotional states, the way you interact, with others? Is that consistent, or is that consistent interaction with others consistent with what you value most and what's most important to you in life? So today's video, again, to reiterate, is about understanding self. It is about being aware and mindful of what are we consistent with in life, because what we are consistent with is what our habits are. And what our habits are, our habit formations, lead to who we are, who we become, and the way we live our lives. The consistency is a very important marker in every area of life with relation to the way we want to live our lives. So consistency, habit creation, exposure, continual practice. Be mindful of this in your life and ask yourself, is this what I want? Am I living a full life in alignment with who I want to be? Do I need to transform, transmute, change, redefine my consistent practices? For more videos, visit S.Sifandos.com, visit my YouTube channel, S.Sifandos, or hit me up on Facebook, S.Sifandos. Thank you very much. Many blessings on your journey. Speak soon.